Shalom, shalom, Brakta Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Bashem, Habakkuk. Shalom to all the Israelites out there, all the Hebrews out there, all the Akthiums, all the Aquathiums, pushing and receiving this truth. And to the Aquathiums, learning and silence, like the scriptures say. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. So right here, Biden declared Ishtar, right? So we gotta understand words hold power. He declared Ishtar, which people call Easter, as Transgender Visibility Day. All right. So I'm gonna just get a little bit into it and show why. Well, he's actually correct. He's right. So if you got a problem with it, like the Lord says, like Yahushua says, here's where you're in error. Here's where you're wrong because you don't understand the scriptures. He's right. Just because you don't understand don't mean that he's not right. He's right. Ishtar, Ashtoreth, right? Or Ashtoreth, right? That's exactly what it's for. That's what it always have been. Think about the movie that Chris Tucker was in when he first broke his career out called The Fifth Element. That represented Babylon and how they dress, how the men wearing purses and satchels and tight jeans. And it's a visibility day. This is why on Ishtar, on Easter, everybody wear all them loud colors, get dressed up and go to church. They walk into these churches with what the Most High calls whorehouses, right? So he's right. He's 100% right. That's exactly what it is.
Now to this. Critics say Biden and the woke mob are taking a swipe at Christians this Easter. This year, Easter Sunday falls on Transgender Visibility Day, which is traditionally on March 31st. But this year, not only did Fairfax County, Virginia, make an official proclamation for Easter Sunday, so did President Biden. Biden was the first president ever to issue an official proclamation for Transgender Day of Visibility, and this was back in 2021. And in his proclamation this year, he said, quote, "Today we send a message to all transgender Americans. You are loved, you are heard, you are understood, you belong. You are America, and my entire administration and I have your back."
Well, I'm going to stop it right there, right? So he's right. So I'm going to get right into something, right? I'm going to play a video. I'm going to get right into it. He's right.
Parades happening all over. And when I looked at the ancient inscriptions of the parades, it describes them, and it says in the parades, the men would dress up as women in the parades, the women would dress as men. It would be a parade of gender.
You heard what he said? This is where Ishtar, Easter, comes from. It has nothing to do with a cross and hot cross-dyed buns and all that.
Bending, and that's exactly what, when you see this happening now, that's the sign of the goddess. It's even like more mind-boggling because I'm looking at this and I look at the ancient observers and they said, when did this thing happen? They said it happened, even St. Jerome, it happened in the month, they called it in Latin, Junium.
So it happened in the month of June. This is why they call June, Pride Month. But also Ishtar, Ashtoreth had to do with the children, with the women, with the men dressing as women, women dressing as men, same as today. Remember, this is Babylon the Great. It's going to be all the abominations in one big cup, but it also going to be magnified. So he's right. And it happens to fall exactly also when they finna do the lunar eclipse. That's a sign for the Israelites. This is we are approaching and coming into the Matthew chapter 25, 10 versions. 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. All right.
June was the month of the goddess. She claimed a month, June, and she was the goddess of pride. So we have now a pride month. It's all come back. This is through these things, through these festivals, she possesses a culture. And that's the sign.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to pause right there and I'm going to get into something else, right? This is, even if you go into the biblical dictionary, let me move that out the way, right? This is for Easter. They placed the word Easter in the Bible. It does not belong there. That's why it's only there at one time. It does not belong there. And that's why it's italicized when you look at it. They placed it there. Easter or Ishtar is not of so-called Christian origin. It's from Ashtoreth. And if we understand the scriptures, we know that over and over and over again, from the original Babel to Egypt to Assyria, through the Persians, through the Grecians, through the Romans, every single time that the Israelites, the Hebrew people, went off worshiping Easter, Ashtoreth, the same you're doing this today, the Most High slammed us every time. He called it adultery. He said there's no difference between us worshiping Ashtoreth and a whorish woman. That's in the book of Ezekiel. I think it's chapter 16. He said it is no different. So when you doing your eggs, your Easter egg, and you going to Easter and all that, the Most High say it's the same as a whorish woman. And he gave a prophecy about all the churches here, right? Here's look at this, and I probably ended up posting this, right? It does not. This from the ancient pagan book of days, right? So even the witches know this. It does not take a genius to realize that Easter is the English pronunciation of the goddess Ashtoreth or Ashtoreth, the goddess of sex, love, fertility. That's why you got them eggs. Think about that. Well, Yahweh Christ, as Christians call him, died on the cross. Then what the heck are you bending down picking up eggs out of the 4-leaf clovers and behind your grandma's yard for? That ain't got nothing to do with any of that, right? The goddess of sex, love, and fertility consort, and she's the sister of Baal. Remember, I believe it's in Matthew chapter 10 or 11, Salaki, if I got that wrong, but when Yahweh said, they even called him Beelzebub. That's Satan. That's the devil. That's Hashatan. She is the sister of Satan. That's why in the satanic Roman Catholic Christian Church, Ishtar is one of the biggest days. People won't go to church all year. But what your granddaddy, what your mama make your big mama and your mama make your daddy do? Get you a nice suit. Make sure it's colored. He gonna wear purple and this because it's of women. It's all of women. That's why it's a woman deity. It's a woman demon, a woman devil. That's why women are attracted to Ishtar and this and that. That's why a lot of these sororities, if you pay attention, those Greek sororities, a lot of them, if you look at their colors, they based off of ancient pagan goddesses. It's nothing new under the sun. All right. I ain't finna read all that. I'm gonna just show a little bit, right? Easter, Ashtoreth, Ishtar, Ashtoreth in Greek. So look, I'm just showing this because I'm gonna get right into some of the scriptures. All right. Also, the Easter eggs. Whoever this brother is who commented, screenshot this years ago, he got it right. He said, hey, the coloring of the Easter egg comes from Babylon. Remember, we in Babylon the Great now. The old Babylon, right? They would sacrifice their babies. And that's exactly what, if you look at what, if those of you who at church may be listening to this, look around and you're going to see the church is full of women with their children beside them. You might count 10 bodies before you see a man. Because Satan knows this. If you get to the woman will offer her children up to you. The woman will sacrifice her children up. Whether if they know it or not, willingly or unwillingly, they're going to go take their child and take Christmas photos and sit them on Satan's, aka Santa Claus's lap, upon Claus's lap, Krampus' lap, and they're going to do the same for Ishtar. Have them go and take them pictures with a bunny, right? Matter of fact, this is Jeremiah chapter 7:18. This is what was going on back in the time of Babylon, right? The same they do today. The children gather wood and the fathers kindle the fire. Right now, while your mama and her sister and all them at church right now, daddy outside at the back got the grill started. It's nothing new. And the women need their dough. This is why on Easter, your big mama and all them make them hot cross buns, and she ended up making pies and making cakes. We are regenerated. They did the same thing back then. Now they're making cakes to the queen of heaven, to Ashtoreth, and to pour out drink offerings. This is why they do that in church, the wine and all that, unto other gods that they may provoke me to anger. The Most High ain't dealing with none of this, y'all. Now y'all probably see them hot dye cross buns and all that. Let me get into a little bit more real quick. In the scriptures, right, in the book of Kings, if we just go right to it, 1 Kings chapter 11, right? This is when Solomon had, the 700 wives, 300 concubines, yada, 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 right? Remember, it was those women, whorish ways or worshiping other gods or pagan ways that the Most High was so pissed off. This is part of the reason why he ripped some of the tribes from Solomon's hand. Because we were worshiping Ishtar. I'm going to call it Easter so y'all understand. It's nothing new. 1 Kings chapter 11. Right? We'll just go to verse. I want to get right to it. Verse 31, right? And said to Jeroboam, right? Take thee 10 pieces For thus said Yahweh, power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon and will give you 10 tribes to thee. Right? So this is part of the reason why he's saying I'm taking 10 of these tribes out of Solomon's hands. Like, all right, hey, look, I mess with him, but I'm done playing with him right now. No one's exempt, right? I'm gonna just skip down. Y'all can read through that. Verse 33, he's saying this is the reason why he's taking the tribes. Because they have forsaken me and have worshiped Ashtoreth. I paused because I want people to take that in. He said, this is the reason why I'm doing this. They have forsaken me and worship Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians. Right? The goddess of the Zidonians, the Kamash, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon. This is who Jay-Z and Beyonce worship. When she was doing all that African stuff, what they call African stuff, that's the god of the children of Ammon. And have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments as did David their father. Right? He said, howbeit I would not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him a prince all the days of his life for for David, my servant's sake. In other words, bro, I mess with your daddy so strong, even though you messing up, I'm still going to do right by you. Why? Because, nigga, I mess with your daddy so strong. It's like when you in the hood, your homeboy get killed, what you going to do? You going to take care of his little one. Like, bro, I got her. I mess with your daddy so strong, I got you. All right? So this is some of the things that was happening. And then the Most High showed Ezekiel, and I'm going to close out real quick. He showed Ezekiel in Ezekiel chapter 22 of all the pagan, the Roman Catholic Christian, the satanic Roman Catholic Christian churches here in Babylon the Great, doing all the abominations that he hate. I think it's in Ezekiel chapter 22. Let me see if I can just get right to it. Ezekiel 22, 24, right? Well, 24, 25. I started 25. He's talking about Babylon, where we are now. There is a conspiracy of her prophets. So all Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, all of them, including your pastor too, right? Prophets, conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. This is why, like, again, you look in your church right now, it's going to be full of women, right? Single women at that. Her priests, your pastors, have violated my law, telling you ain't got to keep it no more. Well, if that's the case, it's okay for you to worship Ashtoreth right now. You can worship Ishtar because the law is done away. That wasn't a law. That was a commandment, right? And have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference, like in the church. They got everybody up in there, ex-genders and alphabet communities. They have put no difference between holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between unclean and clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them. You know how he's profaned among us? By not keeping the law. Number 2, by changing his name. That's taking taking the Lord's name in vain. Right? This is literally is what the Most High is talking about. Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. Give me your tithes, but the law is done away with. And her prophets have dabbed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity, divining lies unto them, saying, thus saith the Lord God. In other words, they're saying, God told me to tell you, sister, God put it on my spirit to come put my hands on you. The Most High is telling y'all they are lying. They are devils. All right. So with that, I actually want to go back to this so people can really understand where this come from, and we'll close out.
She was a goddess of parades. She had parades happening all over. And when I looked at the ancient inscriptions of the parades, it describes them, and it says in the parades, the men would dress up as women in the parades, the women would dress as men. It would be a parade of gender bending, and that's exactly when you see this happening now, that's the sign of the goddess. It's even like more mind-boggling because I'm looking at this, and I look at the ancient observers, and they said, when did this thing happen? They said it happened, even St. Jerome, it happened in the month, they called it in Latin, Junium. June was the month of the goddess. She claimed a month, June, and she was the goddess of pride. So we have now a pride month. It's all come back. This is through these things, through these festivals, she possesses a culture. And that's the sign.
So with that being said, Biden was right. Right? Biden was right. What he declared, right? Proclaiming Transgender Day of Visibility, he's right. It's because you don't understand the scriptures. Shalom.